Hello everyone. Welcome to Novel Story in English. I will present the story of a love story, forced marriage. Sayet. Bilmar stopped his car on the side of the road, and then his eyes began to look at Anggia, who was sitting beside him. But Bilmar could see Anggia's gaze was blank. Even Anggia didn't realize the speed of the vehicle she was traveling in stopped at the side of the road. Anggia was too deep in her thoughts, screaming in her heart, mentioning her parents who had left her alone. Anggia is now alone, and there is no zest for life. There is no longer a place to complain, and a place to be pampered. Anggia also feels sad because she can no longer be a doctor before she pays off her debt to Brian. Becoming a doctor was a dream that she had dreamed of since she was little. Unknowingly, Anggia's eyes began to tear up, and clear liquid began to spill down her cheeks. Bilmar was made even more confused with Anggia. Bilmar was also increasingly curious about what was really going on with the woman sitting next to him. That was the question that kept spinning in Bilmar's head. Bilmar was silent for a long time, watching Anggia until finally Bilmar spoke and made Anggia realize where he was. "Anggia," Bilmar called Anggia. "Yes, sir," answered Anggia. She began to realize that the car had stopped on the side of the road. Anggia began to wipe away the traces of her tears roughly. "Thank you, sir," said Anggia and intended to go downstairs. "Wait, where are you going?" asked Bilmar while locking the car door, and it made Anggia unable to get out. "I want to come down, sir," answered Anggia again, looking at Bilmar's face. Bilmar exhaled sharply and returned to his car at a moderate speed. "Sir, I want to get off," said Anggia, who was confused by Bilmar, who was driving his car again. "Where are you going?" "Let me take you," said Bilmar without looking at Anggia. I. Anggia was also confused about what to answer. "Me?" asked Bilmar curiously. "I want peace, sir, if you are willing, I want you to take me to a quiet place," said Anggia without hesitation. Why is she afraid of Bilmar, besides? Her life is also meaningless without her parents. That's what is currently in Anggia's mind. Replied Bilmar. An hour later, Anggia and Bilmar arrived at Bilmar's villa, where the air looked cool, plus the scenery was so natural and fresh. Bilmar was sure Anggia would find peace in the village located in the mountains. "Get off," said Bilmar after he parked his car right in front of the villa. "Yes, sir," said Anggia, then he got out of the car, following Bilmar. Anggia lowered her gaze and began to sweep around her. Anggia smiled as she stretched out her hands. Anggia closed her eyes and felt the wind blowing her. Anggia smiled, feeling the calmness she was feeling. Bilmar took off the coat he was wearing, and began to fold the sleeves of the dark green shirt he was wearing up to his elbows. Bilmar is standing beside Anggia. Anggia is enjoying the beautiful view of the village, but not with Bilmar. Bilmar's gaze was only focused on the woman in front of him. Bilmar unconsciously smiled. Anggia's long hair that reached her waist began to be blown by the wind, and a few strands hit Bilmar's face, which was quite close to Anggia. When Anggia's hair touched his face, Bilmar felt strange behavior. If only Anggia was his wife or lover, Bilmar would not try to hold himself back this time. Bilmar wanted to kiss the hair and hug Anggia's body from behind the woman's body. Anggia started to open her eyes and looked to the side. There was Bilmar there. Anggia smiled at Bilmar. Bilmar could feel the smile was so sincere from Anggia's lips. Bilmar's gaze only focused on Anggia's lips, which looked very tempting to her faith. Bilmar is not a man who has never done that. But also, he only did that a few times with his girlfriend. Living abroad made it impossible for him to avoid it. But also, Bilmar doesn't do it with many women. "Sir," said Anggia, because Bilmar just looked at Anggia without blinking. Anggia realized that also she felt a little uncomfortable with the look that Bilmar gave her. Anggia is indeed a wife, but she is still a holy girl and can be said to be innocent. She does understand the theory, but she doesn't understand it by practicing it because he's never done it. Answered Bilmar, trying to stay calm and neutralize himself. "Why are you silent?" asked Anggia. Then, asked Bilmar. I don't know what Bilmar expected from Anggia's question. "Sir, are you okay?" asked Anggia, who felt strange about Bilmar's attitude. "Me?" asked Bilmar ambiguously. "Do we continue outside, sir?" "I'm hungry," said Anggia. "Ah. Let's go in," said Bilmar, beginning to notice his own strangeness. "Yes," answered Anggia. Anggia walked in front of Bilmar while Bilmar walked behind Anggia. "Tisk," Bilmar chuckled in annoyance as he realized his own stupidity when he was with Anggia. Anggia and Bilmar have now entered. Anggia looks at each side of the villa, which looks so neat. "Master, does anyone take care of this villa?" asked Anggia. "There is a husband and wife, and now they are in the village next door because the parents of the elves died last night," answered Bilmar. "Die?" asked Anggia. "Yes," replied Bilmar. Anggia looked down, and her tears fell again without being asked. "He just came out." Anggia, who had felt a little calm, now started to feel pain again in the pit of her heart. Her heart was beating fast again just this morning. Her mother and father were buried. Bilmar realized that after his words, Anggia returned to being gloomy and crying. Bilmar reflexively approached and hugged Anggia's body. Anggia did not understand and did not realize until he also returned the hug. Even Anggia hugged her very tightly and didn't seem to want to let go of the hug. The embrace of peace is what he really needs right now. When his heart is being torn apart, he feels crushed because fate is playing with his life. Anggia continued to hug Bilmar while sobbing in Bilmar's arms. Even Anggia's tears wet the shirt that Bilmar was wearing. "Hicks hicks hicks." Anggia's cries were heard so pitifully. He let go of all the tears he had been holding in. Now he really poured out his pain by hugging Bilmar's sturdy body. He had completely forgotten who the person was currently holding his body tightly and was able to calm his broken heart. Bilmar just hugged tightly, and he let Anggia cry in his arms so that all the sadness that Anggia felt was released, and after that, there were no more tears or sadness that the woman he was holding was feeling. "Hicks hicks hicks. Would you like to tell me?" asked Bilmar. "Both of my parents just died last night, sir. Then my husband didn't allow me to be a doctor anymore before I paid off my debt," said Anggia. He didn't realize what he was saying, and he felt that the person he was hugging was Vili because so far, only Vili had heard his outpouring. "Debt?" asked Bilmar, confused. "Yes, I went to college because of Mr. Pasha's money. Now he is my father-in-law, and Brian, my husband, can never accept me. We have been married for 2 years, but we always fight," said Anggia. "Brian Wiratwan?" asked Bilmar. "Sorry, sir," said Anggia. Anggia began to realize who she was hugging as well as what she had said. Anggia felt ashamed and stupid why it was presumptuous to tell other people her problem. And both of them felt an awkwardness. Anggia began to roughly wipe the traces of tears that were still left on the woman's cheeks. Anggia looked down, and she was really ashamed of what she had done earlier. "Okay, are you hungry?" asked Bilmar to dispel the awkwardness between them. Krug. There was the sound of Anggia's stomach asking to be filled. It was only natural that her stomach was ringing since last night. She had not eaten until today. It was even getting dark. "Turn your belly," said Bilmar. "Yes, sir," answered Anggia, embarrassed. "I can't cook, except for boiling instant noodles," said Bilmar with a chuckle. "Yes, let me cook, sir," Anggia answered. "Okay, the kitchen is over there," said Bilmar, pointing to the kitchen. "Yes," answered Anggia, trying to forget the stupid thing she had just done. Anggia started walking towards the kitchen in the direction Bilmar had pointed. Anggia opened the refrigerator, but it was empty, only instant noodles. "Why?" asked Bilmar, who apparently also followed into the kitchen. "No sir," Anggia answered shortly. "Then why are you standing there?" asked Bilmar. "There are only instant noodles, sir." "Let's just eat this," said Anggia. "Yes," replied Bilmar. "It's hot, sir," said Anggia after she finished cooking the instant noodles. "Yes, let me bring it." Bilmar began to take over the noodles in Anggia's hands and then brought them to the dining table. The two of them ate in silence. Anggia felt her stomach growl, and she only focused on her own food. After eating, Anggia began to carry dirty dishes to the sink. "Ah!" Anggia shouted. "Why?" asked Bilmar, who also followed Anggia because he heard Anggia's screams. "My clothes, sir," Anggia answered, pointing to her clothes that were splashed with water. "Yes, you just wear my shirt," answered Bilmar. Bilmar didn't know what to say, besides the maid who used to work there wasn't there either. "So there is no other choice." "Your shirt, sir?" asked Anggia in disbelief. "Brian's shirt, he never wore it, maybe this time he was wearing someone else's shirt." "Stop calling me Mr. Anggia." Bilmar was very annoyed to hear Anggia's words to call him sir. He had repeatedly asked Anggia not to call him sir. To be honest, Bilmar was actually sad to hear the fact that Anggia was already married. However, when Anggia said how his household situation was, Bilmar felt that there was still an opportunity. And he hopes that one day Anggia will be his, no matter if he only gets a widow from his business partner Brian. "It's difficult, sir," answered Anggia. "CK," Bilmar chuckled, annoyed at Anggia's answer. "Master Cold," said Anggia. "Come with me," said Bilmar in a deep, deep voice. Bilmar started walking, then Anggia followed Bilmar behind him. Bilmar started to enter Bilmar's room as well as Anggia. Bilmar opened the cupboard and took a shirt which he thought was the narrowest on his body so that it could be worn on Anggia's tiny body. Bilmar's choice fell on a white shirt, and then he took it and gave it to Anggia. "Here," said Bilmar. "Yes, sir," Anggia accepted the shirt Bilmar had given him. "The bathroom is there," said Bilmar, pointing to the bathroom. "Yes." Anggia started to go to the bathroom, and she started to take off her wet clothes and put on the clothes Bilmar gave her. Anggia stood in front of a large enough mirror. She began to look at herself with a shirt that looked too big and showed her smooth thighs. "I had to," Anggia muttered. Angela came out of the bathroom. Bilmar sat on the bed, waiting for Anggia to come out. Bilmar couldn't blink his eyes because Anggia looked so tempting in a white shirt that looked too big on his body. "Sir," Anggia began to speak because Bilmar did not speak at all. His gaze only looked at Anggia. And Anggia also kept trying to cover her thighs. "You are so small, even though the shirt doesn't fit me anymore," said Bilmar to return to normalcy. "If you continue here, you can make a mistake." "I'm really small, sir," answered Anggia, who felt wronged by Bilmar. She didn't like being called small. Because everyone says so, and he doesn't feel his body is too small. You rest here, I'm in another room, said Bilmar as he tried to quickly get out of the room before his defenses collapsed. Sir! Anggia quickly stopped Bilmar. Especially, asked Bilmar irritably. I'm the one who sleeps in another room. This is your room, said Anggia, who felt bad when she was sleeping in Bilmar's room. Come on, don't talk too much, said Bilmar as he walked back, but Anggia stopped him. He stood in front of Bilmar, stretching his arms. What is this ordeal? Bilmar muttered because Anggia's mound was quite tempting. In addition, Anggia's shirt is getting lifted. It was a tough ordeal for Bilmar. Whether Anggia is still too stupid in that regard or what, Bilmar, who has fallen in love since the first time he saw Anggia, also has a very strong desire to have Anggia. And if Anggia provoked his desire even a little, Bilmar would no longer be able to contain himself. Get out of the way, said Bilmar, shifting Anggia's body. But sir, said Anggia, half shouting because Bilmar was quite far from him. Shut up. And rest, said Bilmar as he continued to walk. Bilmar walked to another room. He came in and sat on the side of the bed. Bilmar lowered his head and grabbed his hair as tightly as he could. That woman is an obstetrician, and I'm sure she knows how to do that or to provoke a man. He must be deliberately tricking me like this, Bilmar muttered. Bilmar lay down because he had changed his clothes into his t-shirt and jogger pants while waiting for Anggia to change. Why is she acting so innocent? She's a married woman. She must know how to arouse men's passion, Bilmar continued to argue with himself.